Good evening, friends. How are you? It's Chris Angel coming at you for marketing. Another episode. Let's say that. Another episode. It feels incomplete if I don't say another episode for marketing for the rest of us. So here's the deal. Tonight, I want to talk about how marketing is confusing. I'm taking some coaching and a program right now from a friend. I did this 2 years ago, almost to the date. Where he teaches you how to get into large publications. I'll just give you a shout out. Shout out to Kamanzi Constable. If you guys would like to learn more about how to get on large publications like Entrepreneur, Inc., Forbes, you name it. Kamanzi is he is the expert. Like I don't know anybody else that does it better than he does. So, and in the process of wrapping my head around how do I consolidate, how do I label what I do so that decision makers at publications say, yes, we'd like you to write for us, or decision makers in corporations say, yes, we'd like you to come do strategic planning with us, or lead us in some sort of keynote speech. There's a whole unwinding of what I've been creating. Like, look, picture it like this. There is your life and you live your life. And as you live your life, life gets more and more specific. You move from universals and generalities into specifics and distinctions of things where it's hard to go back to things being general. Like, what I do is not marketing. Yes? Like, if I go general, what I help people with is marketing. But I'm so far down the road of marketing that it's not just about marketing, because there are all kinds of connotations about what marketing is. And so much of what I do is not all of that, right? So I'm sitting here with a conundrum of, yes, the general content that I teach is marketing, but it's so much more than that. And I don't want to bastardize what I teach by making it general, like as general as just the context of digital marketing, content marketing, etc. Because I believe there's so many more important pieces to what I teach than just that. And yet, if I want to teach, speak, write, get exposure in, presence in other publications, these people aren't this far down the road of what it is that I've learned and questioned and inquired about. So there is some degree of backing out of this rabbit hole I've gone down in order to make it presentable to those who are trying to get access to what I've discovered. They can't get access to what I've discovered because I'm too far down the rabbit hole. So I have to go back up. I have to go back up, layers up, levels up, to where they can actually hear what it is I'm trying to say. Yes? This is true for some of you, because if you're a healer, a coach, anybody that wants to make the world a better place, you, like me, are a seeker, and you have sought answers from the universe and the world about how things work, and you are trying to market your programs sometimes in a way that people can't access, they don't understand. Not because they're not smart, but just because they haven't gone down the rabbit hole that you've gone down. So how do we start to make look, in the face of all of that, marketing gets confusing because you feel that you should be showing up more often than you are in your content, whether it's through a blog post, a social post, whatever. You feel like you should be showing up more than you are. But the reason you don't show up is because you're confused about where to start. You're like, I don't know, marketing. Like when I talk to somebody over coffee, it's easy. But when I have to say something in a post, it gets hard. Right. That's how this gets confusing, because you're in your head about how you think it's supposed to be done versus in your heart about what you really want to say. Do you get that? Like there's something you really want to say, and then there's somebody else who tells you, hey, this is how you have to say it in order for it to be accepted or received by the world. And that's the thing that throws us into a spin. That's the very moment that we get into a swirl about, well, then how am I supposed to do this? So this becomes the trick, right? This is the trick of how do we begin to not abandon what we've learned, not abandon what life has taught us. And at the same time, make what we've learned presentable to people who haven't gone down the rabbit hole as far as we've gone. This is the trick of marketing. Like how, not even a trick of, that sounds, actually I say that, it sounds manipulative, but this is the secret sauce. Like how do you start to stay true to who you are and at the same time make it accessible enough to the people who aren't where you are, who aren't as far in the journey as you are. Marketing is confusing. Marketing is confusing. So what do we do about that? Well, number one, you've just got to start with your truth. You have to, for years, I abandoned my truth in order to do what I thought I was supposed to do in marketing, and that didn't feel good. I remember writing blog posts for publications that weren't, big publications, and they were article pitches that they sent me, and they weren't at all aligned with what I wanted to talk about. So I was writing articles about things I had no interest in. Some of you are creating posts about things you have no interest in, simply because you think that's what's required in order to get noticed. So number one is you just got to stay true to who you are. And I realize now that as I move into this next phase of how do I work with publications, big publications, I'm going into it this time versus 2 years ago. I'm going into it this time knowing I have some standards that I won't compromise. I have a specific group of people I'm here to write for or speak to. And there are certain things I am only going to speak about. And if that means that some places won't take me, fine. But this is the work I'm here to do, and I won't compromise that. So some of you just have to get clear about, like, this is the work I'm here to do, and I'm not willing to play the game, right? The game that others are asking me to play. Now, once you have that, I think the second piece that makes it less confusing is just simply having a framework. When you have a way to communicate all the nuances that you've discovered in a way that people who aren't as far down the rabbit hole as you are can access, right? Can relate to, can understand, can feel. When you have a framework for articulating those things in a way they can feel, then that actually takes it up a notch. That makes your marketing not only less confusing to you, but it makes it less confusing to them. So how do we summarize this? Well, number one, you got to stay true to who you are and what life's taught you. Like, don't play the game you think you have to play in marketing in order to be heard. That's number one. Number two is find frameworks that help you consolidate all of that you've learned into something that is accessible to those who aren't as far down the rabbit hole as you. Okay? That is it. If I had to put that in a two-step approach, there you have it. There it is. Stay true to what life has taught you, and then find a framework that helps you take what life has taught you and put it in a form that is accessible to others. So that's it, gang. If you'd like to learn more about how to create a framework or what the framework is, go to groundswellmethod.com. You'll see 5 videos. On the other side of opting into that sequence of videos, you'll see 5 videos that actually not only walk you through, but teach you the whole thought process behind this style of marketing. And then the last page of those videos is an application button to my 6-week program. If you'd like to learn more about how to do this, I have a 6-week program that walks you through how to structure your content in a way that is accessible to others. So go to groundswellmethod.com. The link is in the text of this post. If you'd like to learn more about that, go there. Thanks for hanging out with me in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until tomorrow. Look, here's to you making marketing accessible, your message accessible to those who actually want to change. See ya.